हेलो एवरीवन, दिस इज द डे 5। सो आज का दिन हम लोग डे 5 में पहुंच चुके हैं। सो लेट्स स्टडी टुगेदर। प्रोसेस। the grammar structure. All the materials have been presented through the species. Discussion about the teachers who not been trained or they want to pay their time probably in teaching process. They know how to earn maximum money from the various sources, but do not want to train the children to speak, read, write correctly the language. The old method needs the audio, visual, radio, television as the part of the teachers. The several problem in the way of oral teaching. Mother tongue is being used extensively and the translations. Method is being used to language the mother tongue. There must be automatically the spontaneous teaching system. Bilingual method. This is the comparatively a recent method invented by Professor C.J. Johnson of the Wells. He claims that this method is very effectively to the teaching for the foreign language because it's experimental of the pupils yielded the desirable results. This method of unique method which carries to the merit of the translations come grammar method of the direct method and structure approach. The main characteristics of this method are emphasized on creating situations not exactly like direct. In these situations are the created just by giving the mother tongue equivalent of English words. Sentence is a unit teaching. Sentence is a unit of teaching. Rigorous practice is done in sentence pattern. Mother tongue is used to explain the meaning of new words, phrases, idioms, sentences, and the grammatical point of the words. Word for the word translation is done. This type of translation is called interpretations by the dunce. Translations are only done by the teacher, not by the students to explain the matter. After explanation, practice is done without the help of the mother tongue. Mother tongue is only used during early stages. The subject matter is selected and graded. Experimental to have shown that a student taught why this method learn more than other children. In India, Professor H.M.L. Sastry of the Central Institute of English, Hyderabad, conducted the experiment. He divided students of fourth class into two. One group was taught by bilingual method, this other was taught by direct method. It was found that the bilingual method could learn to speak 23 sentences, while the direct group method learned to speak only 40 sentences. The average score of bilingual method score was 64% as against of the 52% by the direct method. This method is just Dr. Best method. Dr. Best method. This method is just reactions of the direct method and the suggestions on the improvement upon it. Dr. Best propounded His philosophy on the assumptions of the English is taken in the new context of free India. He thought that English should be taught in India utilitarian point of view so the Indians may be able to understand others to express themselves. Hence, the Indian pupils recourse to the ability of the English, read English writing in the secondary of them. They will have a fewer opportunities to the present communicate, circumstance of the write English. So the children should be trained for the reading. The reading habit is the improved to the solitude over when without the teachers who was interested with helping to the people in silent reading. These people should be initiated with a reading escape. The drive pleasure from the reading to make reading pleasant and the interesting books of the new type of needed which are the called the readers. These leaders have been made the sufficiently interesting the various way. Their vocabulary is controlled in the sense of that each one is selected of the each reader. Consider the mental age of the pupils. It contains common words that they frequently find in palace, frequently find the place in the learning process of the children. New words of the phrases are even evenly distributed of the vocabulary in escaped non-technicals in the nature. In short, readers serve as introductions to the later reading of adult life. The repetition of the new words makes them familiar. The children familiar. The teacher is to the test from a time to comprehensions powers of the student. The readers are so prepared with illustrations that they create the atmosphere and the situations for the learning. Oral work preparedly silent reading gives reality to the subsequent reading of language. If the child has done a little speaks in it, frequent use to mother tongue is allowed under two systems regarding the grammar of there is no clearly defined policy since it is already learned during the learning of the mother tongue. Dr. West also considered that reading is a language is for the shortest route of the learning to speak write it. He thinks that much passive work is to be done before active work, where the passes bypasses work is means that respectively commanded of the language, which is merely used to understand the way the active work in means that productive command of the language. Thus, as passive verb, the respective command will be way of the active or the productive command will be the way of the active product command. Reading is the essential stage of the enable children to the core profession proficiency prof- proficiency in the speech of the writing. They will be able to speak and write with speed of the accuracy. Beside this is forms the idea of the structure of English language in this pupil's mind and creates a feeling for it. So when the student comes to the stage of the self expression in the language, he is safe against all the possible errors. takes from the reading point of view, it aims at the development of the reading, which is essential part of the language. It chief emphasizes it, if its chief emphasizes it, the lead of the silent reading, which develops comprehension. Reading is free from the phonetic differences, phonetic difficulties. It serves as the basis of the active verb in writing and the speaking. Facility is reading leads to the feeling for a language. Thus, it is developed a taste of literature essential for short stories. The other thing that the other thing said it is the favor are that is very helpful for lower classes as it is free from the encouraged form of the speech. Teachers of these classes, the vocabulary being controlled, it is learned easily. Frequently, repetitions and new words makes them not only familiar but also the contributed the in enriching the vocabulary of the peoples. Lastly, it is the base of the principles of economy and the practice of the teachers through get thorough the define the structure of the proceed. The students are helped with the suitable devices from the assimilations. However, the critics find that its sole merit is also a main defect. Reading is not all. It is suffer from the same drawn back of emphasizing only the aspect of the extremity. It ignores that fact. Let only reading well will make you the teachings of the English dull and the monotonous. Besides this, reading is along not attracted to adult minds. A feeling for the language is not possible only by silent reading. It records specific detail in the use of the language, use of the language. Uh, then, then this method ignore the fourfold aspect of the language learning. It simply enables one to read, which means that it bring out bonsai development only. It is being noted that in a context that the distinctions between the speaking and the reading is not such as the Best Dr. Best has observed. It is only possible to maintain the professor finally finally Professor finally is the opinion that best decide with the separation between the eyes on the hand on the lips, ears, and the hand on the other. It is psychologically sound. Looked at from another point of view, the assimilation is language can be fruitfully done by the providing specified a specific drill of the language used. The reading alone cannot be trusted in the fixing up phraseology. Next to experience shows that speech comes first. Reading follows. Eight of the best presumes the reverse that speaking is the language is not difficult. As the thing, the fact is easier than reading and writing. It is context of it is not what is not wrong. Says that pronunciations cannot be learned undue. If undue the emphasis places of the reading pronunciations of the best learned or the hearing all the speaking of the not the reading. The detached study of what the words that neglected in the respectively situations of the sentences. In the another drawback The hearing, the articulated of the comprehension, comprehending the assimilating to the to some of the first used to mother tongue and the translations detach words study with the neglect of the grammar of the composition limited vocabulary too much repetitions of the neglected in idioms of the inclusions of the stories creating reading's ability of the sum of difficulty in the mind structural approach. There is a controversy regarding the system whether should be the considered as an approach or method. Without going into the academic discussion, it would be suffice to say that since the approach takes the concrete from and its application, it is may be regarded to the technique of the method. The structure method is based on the relief that is teaching of the foreign language. The mastery of the structures of the more important than the acquisition of the vocabulary of their limitations. The difficult inherent as the study of the English cannot be overall by the giving of the intensive drill to the student in the structure pattern. It is it is that it is that they why the concentrating on the essential English of the secondary stage. The other aspect may be the left by the wait till college days. This saves the lowering the standard of the English, knowing that is the briefly of the structure approach. Briefly to the structure approach is to say that fundamental of the English by the establishing through drill of the repetition of the vowel 2 5 2 7 5 graded structure is from the nucleus of language to enable the children to attain mastery over the essential vocabulary of about 1,000 roots words of active use to correct the teachings of the grammar of the composition with the regarding relations. The to teach for fundamental skills, namely understanding, speaking, reading, and writing. To lay proper emphasis on the orals approach, active methods, and the condemptions of the former in grammar for its own sake. Thus, we can say that the new approach is based on these principles. Firstly, it is very important to forming language habits, particularly the habit of the arranging the words with standard English patterns to the replace of the sentence patterns of the pupils of own language. Next, there is important to speak as the necessary means to fixing firmly the around the work. Lastly, there is the important of the pupils actively rather than the activity is the teachers. Mm. On the practical side, there is about 2257 language pattern with the constitute of the core essential English. These basic patterns are called structure. Each structure embodies an important grammatical point. A structure may be the complete utterances of the part of the language whole of the sentence pattern as the Mohan gets up at 6 p.m. He takes his bath, he takes his breakfast, he goes to school. Then there is the praise pattern like I have been living in this house for the last 3 years. The books is on the table. Next, there is a formula pattern like good morning, how do you do, God bless you. These are occasions, used on occasions. Lastly, there is the idiomatic pattern like life is not a bed of roses. In spite of these instructions, In spite of these instructions, more important than the acquisition of the vocabulary. Objective of the structure approach to enable to the learners to attain the mastery of the essential vocabulary about all the 3000 rule words for the active use. To teach the four fundamental skills, namely, and the essential vocabulary about 3000 rule words of the active use. To correlates the teaching grammar of the composition with the reading chapter listening. To lay proper emphasis on the choral, oral, and oral prose of the active methods, condemnations of the grammar of these own sake, type of the structure, phrase pattern. The different type of phrase patterns are the different type of the different type of the structure phrase pattern. The different use of the phrase pattern are in the room. Understand the branch of the table into the bell, etc. Idiom. There are a group of the words that must be the thought as well, or not the separate ones. In the teeth of, in black or white. Sentences, sentence pattern. The sentence pattern may be the different design. Ram is my brother. Settle is not my friend. Formula. It means a group of the words used regularly on the certain occasions. Good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you. Principles of the structure approach. Principle of the structure approach. Formation of the language habit. The structure approach takes care of the fact learning and the language its habits formations process. Meaningful situation. It is the approach of the teaching is the aspect of the create meaning situations that the mix of the teachers work interesting. The structure of the able to the learn structure very well. Important of teaching. It is the learning of language, speech, the more important than the reading of writing. The reason is that language is learned orally first. That is, speech becomes the basic for the acquiring other skills like like reading, writing, and the structure speech of given are more important. Teaching language are not about it. The emphasis should be on teaching on the language. It is principles of these uses. The use of the words, people's activity. The student is expected to be active but learning the language. The structure of pupils are given the more important of the comparative of the teaching activity. Merit of the structure approach. The students are able to understand the subject matter fully. The teaching is the conducted by the so created meaningful institutions. Sufficient practice of them provided our this introduction of the brief section. There is the natural, therefore natural assimilations of the language takes place. This approach makes successful that approach of reading situations speech. It is usually conducted of the oral approach of that structure of the trial. This structure is built. Thanks for watching.